Your Honor, I object!
And why is that, Mr. Reed?
Because it's devastating to my case!
Overruled.
Good call!
Many of your prospects will object to your offer, and hey, that's okay. They can object all they want, because I have the secret to overcoming any objections. We're going to cover it today. I'm John Benson, and this is Sales Copy Secrets. Welcome back, and this is the simple secret to overcoming any sales objections. And what's really cool is this works in case you are selling offline or online. It works if you're selling in person or if you're selling over the interwebs. It's all about the psychology, man. What's going on in between the ears? The noggin holds the secret to getting more sales. So if you are a copywriter, if you are interested in copywriting tips, copywriting techniques, if you're an online marketer looking to sell stuff, or if you're just a salesperson, this is for you. Let's dive into the training. So as always, we begin by defining our terms. What is an objection? An objection is any reason your prospect can think of, whether it be true or not, as to why they will not buy your product or service. It's that simple. Now, objections can be true in the mind of the prospect. They can just feel true. They can be legitimately true. Most often or not, they are the result of a lack of trust, either in you, in themselves, or in most cases, in both. That is the psychology that we need to tackle in order to overcome objections, is their own innate lack of trust. However, I'm going to focus more on their lack of self-trust and why that is occurring and how you can overcome it. So the tactics you're going to see are tactics that will build trust in you, build trust in your offer, but also build self-trust, which is really the secret to overcoming any sales objection. Now, most copywriters try to overcome objections sheerly logically. And as someone who's trained in logic, I was a philosophy major in college, and someone who has studied logic for years, I totally get that. I understand making a logical argument. Syllogisms are beautiful. But that is not going to cut it when it comes down to making sales, because some of the problem, or at least most of the problem, I believe, is between the ears, specifically in regards to their lack of trust in their own self and their ability to make a wise decision. Now, this comes from a lot of different psychological backgrounds, a lot of different issues and baggage that people have psychologically, but it does translate into people clicking the freaking buy button. So if you want people to click the buy button more often, you might want to pay me some attention. Cool? Now, I'm not going to cover every objection in the book today. I'm going to talk about three of the most common for sure, and how I would approach them from a copywriter's position, and how I can use that objection to instill greater trust in the prospect rather than in me. The first one is going to deal specifically with me, or you in this case, and you need to do both, but watch how I do it and watch and learn how I'm applying it to building trust inside the prospect, because that's really where it is at. Okay, objection number one is pretty simple. You've heard it before. This won't work for me. What's really underneath that, unless they were absolutely positive that it won't work for them? Like, in other words, if they're trying to buy a square bolt and it's a round hole or something like that, okay, the only reason that they're saying that is because they're saying to themselves, this won't work because of me, not for me, because of me. I don't trust myself enough to succeed. Now, they may not be aware that that's what they're thinking, but that is what they're thinking. So here's how I would tackle this in copy. I'm going to give you an example. It's not a word for word copy example that you can lift right out of this video, although you can if you want to. This is just a teaching tutorial, but take the lessons and watch what I'm doing. Cool? Let's have a look. You know, some of my most successful students write into me saying, John, I have to admit, I almost didn't buy, name a product, CopyPro, let's say. I didn't think it would work for me. In truth, I didn't believe in myself. So I'm thankful I took you up on your generous offer, because now I have this awesome success story. Now I've built a six-figure business. Plus, I've recaptured my faith in myself. I now know it wasn't me that failed before, however. It was the system that failed me. So thank you. Now, I am exaggerating this to a large degree. I wouldn't necessarily write all of that, but you get the idea. Let me break it down for you before I go on in the slide and show you more, okay, because there is more, believe it or not. I start with the NLP phrase, you know. What am I doing that for? Because the problem is knowledge. The problem is faith in oneself. And to have faith in oneself, you need to have some degree of certainty, and certainty comes from knowledge. So when I say you know, that is an NLP command saying you know. You are grounded in truth. Very good place to start from, wouldn't you say? It wasn't accidental. Then I say some of my most successful students write me saying, guess what? I almost didn't buy it because I didn't believe that it would work for me. But in truth, I didn't believe in myself. So I'm literally spelling out the psychology here on what I'm wanting them to learn, but I'm doing it from a perspective that doesn't necessarily attack them because it's coming from hey, other people have said this, but check out who they were. They were some of my most successful students. So in other words, the feeling that this person is having right now is a feeling shared by some of my most successful students. You're kind of, light bulbs going off. I can see it. I can see it from cyberspace. Then I just, kind of ratchet up my offer a little bit, your generous offer. Because now I have this awesome success story. So I weaved a success story into this won't work for me. That's pretty cool. And then finally I end with this. It wasn't me that failed in reality. It was the systems that I tried before that had failed me, or the offers that I tried before. And you can even list the products, but be careful with that because don't want to get you sued. Hey, it's this XYZ product that didn't work for me before. That was really what let me down. So that lets them completely off the hook. Now let's continue on with this slide because there is more. Maybe you can relate to that yourself. Maybe you're wondering if you can really do this. After all, it works because folks like Testimonial 1 and Testimonial 2 and hundreds more prove that. Yet, will it work for you? The system was actually created for folks like you, folks who tried the old, outdated ways only to be let down time and time again. And it's not only designed for you to succeed, it's literally guaranteed. And I would put my guarantee here. There's a lot of NLP and psychology going on in here because let me tell you, okay, maybe you can relate to that. Obviously, that's the relationship to the story I told above. You're wondering if you can really do this. Notice I'm not saying you're wondering, I'm saying maybe, just in case they're not, because I don't like to usually imply something direct. I usually like to say maybe you're feeling this or this. So I give people the open out so people can't say, no, I'm not feeling that. After all, it works because of testimonial test. So once again, is being grounded in here. It works because of Testimonial 1, Testimonial 2, hundreds of others. Yet will it work for you? And then I turn everything on its head. This was created for folks like you that are thinking to themselves, maybe this won't work for me. Do you see what I'm doing here? I'm creating the system for folks that are skeptical if it will work for them. Folks who have tried outdated and old ways. So I'm kind of backhandedly and tacitly, not so tacitly, swatting my competition, shall I say. The old boring systems, they don't work. And my system was created to, get around that problem so that you're not let down again, because you've been let down time and time again. And it was not only designed for you to succeed, it's guaranteed that you're going to succeed. And then I put my guarantee in there. So that is about as strong as you could possibly overcome that argument. And I wouldn't use all of that copy, just pick bits and pieces that fit your product and your style, but you get the idea. And hopefully this has given you some stuff to think about. Let's move on. But before we do, have I earned your like? Have I earned your respect? Have I earned your endless love and admiration and fan letters? If any of those are true, do me a favor and pulverize that like button. Smash that bell for new notifications when my videos drop. And guess what? If you don't subscribe, I'm going to track your ass down. No, I won't do that. But I'd love it if you did subscribe if you haven't already. And do me a favor, leave me a comment below. Let me know how I'm doing because it helps the channel grow. Let's get on with it. Objection number 2 is really common. Oh, the price is too high. How many times have you heard the price is too high? Okay, people saying, oh, I would have bought it, but the price is too high. Well, what if I told you that too was the result of a lack of trust of the self? Kind of weird, huh? Let me explain. At first glance, you're thinking, well, let's say that like CopyPro, it's $1,000 or whatever. So it's going to cost $1,000 and they don't have $1,000, so they just don't have $1,000, right? No. They don't believe in their ability to recoup the $1,000 investment. So if they spend it, they have a lack of belief in the self that they can get it back. In other words, there's going to be an irreparable loss going on here. So let me show you a way I get around it. Again, I'm writing a lot of copy here just to teach you and to show you some ideas. You don't have to use it all word for word. Just take the ideas. Cool? Let's go. If you're concerned about the investment you'll be making today, let me set your mind at ease. Yes, $1,000 is it wouldn't be $1,000, it'd be $997, right? Yes, $997 is a very reasonable deal for a CopyPro. I'm just filling in the names here. Yet, we both want to watch our pennies these days, right? However, what I'm about to say is the truth. Truth that you can trust down to your core. You must invest in yourself. We may doubt this at times, but the only progress you've ever made in your life is when you've invested in yourself. Take a moment and remember one of those times right now. how awesome it felt to believe in yourself enough to take action, and how grateful you are that you did take action. That's the feeling you'll get when you take action today and click the button you see right now to pick up Copy Pro. I'm just going to put Copy Pro in there. And I'd like to make that self-investment even easier today by shouldering all the risk for you, and that's when my guarantee would come in. Okay, let me break that down because again, tons of copy goodies in here, tons of juice. If you're concerned about the investment you'll be making today, I use the word investment. I'm not saying if you're concerned about the price. Price is negative. Investment, different story. Let me set your mind at ease. Well, who doesn't want that, right? Yes. Notice what I do here. Let me set your mind at ease. The very first word they hear is yes. What am I doing? I'm getting a yes reflex. I want them to think the word yes, so they're more likely to buy. So check out how I frame the price. Yes, $9.97 in my example is a very reasonable deal for Copy Pro. Right? So I'm just reaffirming that the price is very reasonable, right? But I'm also kind of just tacitly saying that, oh, $9.97, it's a little bit expensive, right? It's a reasonable deal though. Yet we both want to watch our pennies these days. So what am I doing here? Rapport, right? We both want to do this. You and I both want to watch our pennies these days. Makes sense. In other words, I'm telling them that it's okay. I'm giving them the affirmation necessary to help somebody overcome any sense of lack of security. So that's a great way to do it. If you affirm someone's feelings like I'm doing here, you're going to help people overcome fears and insecurities. Then I turn the tables. However, you know what I'm about to say is the truth. And it's truth you can trust down to your core. You got to invest in yourself. Pretty self-evident. We may doubt that at times, but the only progress you have ever made in your life, that's very intentional. Okay, you and I may doubt that at times, I could say, or we doubt this at times. However, the only stuff that you've ever done in your life that made anything is you. I turn it right back to them. And it's all true. The only progress anyone's ever made in their lives is when they've invested in themselves, either money or time or energy or whatever. So take a moment to remember one of those times right now. So I'm putting them in the framework of remembering something that they invested in that worked out well. So I'm putting them in a totally different mental frame of reference. How awesome it was to believe in yourself enough to take action, because I'm getting right at the root of the problem directly in their face, but I'm doing it through a story. I'm doing it through regression in this case, to remembering back to a time when this was true. Then I say, hey, that's the feeling you're about to get right now today when you click the button below, and I'm gonna make it even easier by throwing in the guarantee. So there you go. So option number 3, So it's my finger's not working again. So option number 3. Okay, option number 3 is I'm not sure if I should buy from you. Now this is especially true if you sell, say, supplements or something, and there's 10 different brands out there and you're competing against the brands. Well, check this out. That sounds 100% like this has nothing to do with them. This is really all about you. There is definitely some stuff about you in here. There's some authority stuff that you probably need to solidify. But check this out. If you look a little bit deeper, here's the psychology. It's, again, their lack of trust in themselves to properly discern, to be able to pick the differences between this product, that product, that product. It comes down to trust almost every time. And almost every time it comes down to trust in themselves, not necessarily in you. This is going to need to do both, so check it out. What the prospect is saying is, I don't trust myself enough to trust you. Think of it that way. And a lot of this stems from your prospect not trusting people in general, from bad relationships, especially personal relationships. That's part of it. Business relationships, financial relationships. It's stemming from a lot of pain. So here's how you deal with it. You have to do it in 2 phases. Phase 1 is, again, you have to reaffirm your own authority. You have to say, here's why you can trust me. Here's why you should choose me over everyone else. That is still important. It's not all them. Phase 2 is all about them and reaffirming their ability to discern and make a good decision. Let's dive into it with an example right now. As you're about to take action and join in the Copy Pro family today, let me remind you that you and I are probably a lot alike. I started my journey not too long ago writing the worst sales page I've ever written, only to realize that I needed help with my copy. Now, to some, I may be known as the godfather of the video sales letter, but to me, I'm still that guy who struggles to write a sentence without second guessing myself at times. That helps me stay humble, keep progressing, and above all, stay connected to all of my customers. Now, I'm doing this in 2 phases. So what am I doing? I'm telling a little bit of a story about me. And all that's true, by the way. So there are times when I will look at a sentence and go, is that the right sentence? I will tell you that it's not that often, and it's never in a state of flow. When I'm in flow, I can buzz through just about anything. But if I'm not in flow, if I haven't done the work to get myself into a state of flow, as I've covered in other videos below, yeah, I can most certainly second guess everything I write. But notice how that sets me up as both an expert. People call me the godfather of the VSL, which is true, or the billion-dollar copy coach. That's the other nickname that people call me. That's true too. So those are very impressive titles. But I'm still that guy that still remembers struggling with letters and sentences, and I still second guess myself sometimes. So I'm really putting myself on the level of the customer, which is where you want to be if you can say that truthfully. So that's going to help your prospect really relate to you, and relationship is a huge factor in establishing trust and rapport. So let's look at the second part now. Now we have to put the trust back into their hands. We have to reinstill their trust in themselves. Check out how I do it. You'll find, as thousands have, that I'm willing to go out on a limb, to share in ways most people in my industry refuse to do. Maybe it makes them look bad in their eyes. To me, it keeps it real, and real people are the folks you really need to connect with. I bet you believe the same thing. So in this offer, I'm extending a hand of real friendship and connection, something I believe no one should refuse. I know you'll be happy that you've accepted that hand, and I can't wait to help you reach your copywriting goals today, now that you're ready to click the button below and order now. Okay, so I added a few words there at the very end, but you get the point. So that was still a lot about me. You know, people say I'm going to go out on a limb. Maybe other people don't do it because they're afraid. You know, I'm saying this thing, but check this out. Real people are the folks you really need to connect with. And I bet you believe the same thing. So I'm extending this hand of real friendship and connection, something, what? I believe no one should refuse. So I'm making them feel really empowered to say, I'm not going to choose it, but I'm not giving them the total power. I'm actually making them feel like a little bad by not accepting it. In other words, wait, maybe I really should accept this because this seems like a legitimate offer. Now, none of this works, by the way, if you're speaking bullshit, if you're not speaking truth, if you're not really this person. Don't say these things. But I really am this person, so it makes total sense when I say it. I wouldn't say it necessarily this long all the time, but I'm doing this, again, as a teaching tool. So hopefully you can pick up the little nuggets here and there. Now I'm going to show you a couple things in the copy itself so that you can see what I'm doing as you're about to take action and join in the Copy Pro family. So what is that? Well, that is complete future pacing. You're just about to do this. You're just about to take action. You know, it's not specific future pacing, because I would have said it's 5 minutes from today and you've taken action, but it's close enough. As you're about to take action, join in the family today. Let me remind you that you and I are probably a lot alike. That's complete rapport. Again, back to complete rapport. I'm telling them my short story. To me, I'm still that guy, the guy that still struggles. And you'll find as thousands, I'm willing to go out on a limb. By saying that, that's evidence of that truth, okay? To share in ways that most people in my industry refuse to do. So in other words, this is really isolating me away from everyone else without talking about how great my product is. So remember what the objection is. You're not the guy I should buy from. Well, or maybe I should buy the other product instead of this product. If you sell somebody on you, in other words, on the person, on the entity behind the products, that will go a long way. That's what my father used to believe in. He said, I invest in the person, not the company. Well, I believe that's absolutely true. So I'm selling them on me. Ethically speaking, I'm not even talking about the product at this point. Real people are who you need to be connected with. You and I probably both believe that, so I'm extending this hand of friendship, something no one should refuse. So there's some really good psychology in there. Do break it apart. Now, I've got one more tip for you today. Do me a favor. I want you to look below and like, share, sub, and smash that bell for notifications when my new videos drop. I am John Benson, and as always, I am here to help make you unignorable.